Wow. Y'all can sit down now. Thank you for that. So you guys, I'm in 7th grade English class, 7th grade. And I hear my name come over the loudspeakers. John Madsen, to the counselor's office. I'm looking around. John Madsen, to the counselor's office. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell did I do? You know, I'm not the type of kid that ever gets called into the counselor's office. I have straight A's. I've never really been in trouble. And so I'm racking my brain as I'm grabbing my stuff. And all the other kids in the class are like this, like, what the hell did you do? And so I grab my backpack, I sling it over my shoulder, and I walk down the hallway, completely confused. I step into the counselor's office. Mr. Beasley, my 7th grade counselor. And the only thing that I can remember is every single room in that office was covered in Denver Broncos stuff. We got any Broncos fans in here? So over here on this wall, there's a Denver Broncos helmet. There's an autographed picture of John Elway. Over here on this wall, there's a giant picture, poster of John Elway, signed by Elway. And then there's one of those #1 foam finger, I'm the top Broncos fan in the world things. And I'm sitting there thinking, is this guy the biggest Broncos fan in the entire world? And guys, I know Broncos fans. When I was a kid, I had an uncle, Uncle Trent. Uncle Trent had a Broncos tattoo, like the horse, tattooed right across his deltoid. But this guy, Mr. Beasley, has him beat. And so I'm sitting across from him, and he pulls out a folder. And he pulls out an assignment that we had to do a couple weeks earlier. The assignment was simple. We had to write down our top 2 career choices. The first choice for me, no-brainer, professional athlete. From the time I was 5 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to be. Career choice number 2, though, had me stumped. So I thought about it for a second, and then it came to me. So right next to career choice number 2, I write in professional athlete. That was why I was in the counselor's office. So Mr. Beasley pulls out a sheet of statistics. Now he has proof that my dream wasn't possible. He says, John, did you know out of all the high school athletes all over the United States, less than 5% ever make it to play college ball? And he said, out of all those high school athletes all over the United States, less than 1% ever make it to the pros. And so he says, it's my job to make sure that you have a backup plan. I'm going to let you keep your #1 dream, but let's come up with something different for career choice number 2. And I remember just sitting across from him, staring at him. Up until that point in my life, sports were everything. I played football, I played basketball, I played baseball, I played tennis. You guys, I golfed, I bowled. I even got competitive playing board games in my own household. I was one of those kids, like if I lost, I cried, you guys. Like I was a competitor. There wasn't a thing that I wanted to do more than be a professional athlete. Not an astronaut, not a pilot, just professional athlete. But I realized that I had to get the hell out of his office somehow. And he wasn't letting me go unless I chose something different. So I wrote something down. To this day, I have no idea what it was. Maybe I said janitor. Maybe I said school counselor. I want to be like Mr. Beasley when I grow up. I don't know, but I wrote something down on the piece of paper, I handed it back, and I walked out. And I was pissed because it was the first time in my life that an authority figure told me that my dream wasn't possible. My parents never told me that. They always told me the opposite. Parents are here, right? I can't see you because of the lights. Stand up. Stand up. Round of applause for mom and dad. Thank you. Those were the type of parents that always told me, John, you can do whatever you want to do, as long as you put your heart into it. And so now I'm going into my first year of high school, and I'm planning to play on the football team. I had played football since I was 10 years old, but to play high school football, you had to go through a summer strength and conditioning program. And so if you made it through the summer and you didn't quit, you would earn a helmet and you would earn a jersey. That's how you made the team. And so the first day of summer conditioning camp, me and 5 of my buddies, we walk into the weight room, and all the seniors are already there. And the music's blasting. I still remember Eminem just blasting over the speaker system. This is 1999, so everyone had, bleached blonde tips, bumping Eminem. Weights were clanking. Some of these dudes had veins popping out of their damn necks. Some of them had full-grown beards, and I probably had 1 armpit hair at the time. I was a late bloomer. So I'm intimidated as shit, right? And the strength coach says, we're gonna max out on bench press, squat, and power clean today. I had never done any of those lifts before. It never occurred to me whether I was strong or not. I had just always played sports with my friends. So I'm like, okay, me and my 5 friends, we see an empty bench press right in the back of the room. So we navigate our way through the seniors with the veins popping out of their necks. We come over here, we throw on 95 pounds on a barbell, and one by one, we start warming up. My friends rep it out easily. When it was my turn, I slide underneath that bench, I grip the bar, I count to 3 for a lift off. 1, 2, 3. Friend lifts the bar off the rack, and as soon as his fingers let go of the bar, that bar comes crashing down on my chest, like boom. I can't budge it, you guys. I feel like my sternum's cracked. And my friends, high school kids, hunched over, cracking their asses up as they're trying to pull this bar off of me. And I slide out from underneath that bench, and I stand up, and I made a decision right then and there that would change my entire life. I told myself, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back until I'm strong and I'm powerful. That was the deal I made with myself. And so I go home. I tell my dad what happened that day, told him how embarrassing it was, and then I break the news. Dad, I'm not going to play high school football this year, but I want to play next year, and I need to get strong. So I never go back to the summer strength and conditioning camp. But my dad puts me in the truck, drives me down to the rec center, and signs me up with a trainer named Mike, Big Mike. Now Mike was not tall like me. Mike was like this, like wide like a box, and his arms looked like freaking boulders, you guys. This was a powerlifting coach from New Mexico, and he was intense. His rate was $25 a session, 3 times a week, $300 a month, $300. I came from a hard-ass working blue-collar family. $300 a month was a lot, you guys. But my dad made me a promise. He said, son, if you keep showing up, I'll keep paying. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night, I went and trained with Big Mike. Or I should say, I got buried by Big Mike every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I puked in garbage cans. I deadlifted so much, my hands split open, and he still made me hold the bar. My lungs burned. You guys, sometimes I freaking cried in the gym, and other people at the gym would look at this guy like, Mike, you're gonna kill this kid. And I freaking loved it. I loved every second of it. You know why? Because while my friends were out there playing fucking video games, I was in the weight room getting 1 inch closer to my dream every damn day. And that's what I did. And that's what I did for 3 years. Got my ass kicked in that weight room. About a year into it, I go into the gym, walk into the gym like normal, thinking I'm gonna get my ass kicked like normal. But this time, Mike doesn't take me into the weight room. He takes me into the basketball courts and he's holding a basketball. I'm thinking, what the hell? And he says, go dunk this. And I thought, oh shit. He's like, the last time I tried to dunk, it wasn't pretty. It was like one of those little layup dunk things. And I had just spent the last year obliterating my legs. Like I could barely sit on the toilet for most of this year. So I'm like, okay, Mike. I take the basketball, I bounce it a couple times. I look up at the rim, and for whatever reason, that day, the rim looks like 2 feet lower. I'm like, okay. So I take off, I jump off my left foot, I throw my arm back, boom, and I slam this shit. The rim, you guys, hits me about the elbow. I'm not shitting you. And I come down, and I'm like, damn, this training shit works. I'm gonna go play in the NBA. So from that day, I set my sights on basketball. Never touched a football field again in high school. I spent the next 2 years training and playing basketball with the dream of going to the NBA. My junior year, I become a starter. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Some seniors got cut. I have this newfound athleticism, can guard people. I can jump out of the damn gym. And then we don't win a game. We go 0-20. It was brutal. I've never even heard of a damn team going 0-20 before. But I tell myself, I'm only a junior. I got 1 more year left. And so I go back to train with Big Mike for another year. And I come into my senior year more athletic, bigger, stronger, and more confident than ever. I'm thinking we're going to go win and compete for a state championship. And we lose our first 10 games. So now we have a 30-game losing streak. You guys, it became a freaking joke, all right? Kids from our own school would show up to the damn games just to heckle us, from our own school, There was a news station that came out with this story, and they said that we had the longest losing streak in Utah basketball history. I remember after one of the losses, just laying on the ground, I throw my jersey off. We had lost this close game, and I throw my jersey off. And I'm laying on the court, and I'm looking up at the ceiling lights. And I ask God. I say, God, why me? I had worked my ass off for 3 straight years to finish my high school career with a 1-39 freaking record. God, why is this happening to me? And so I'm standing at high school graduation. No scholarship offers. Nobody, no school is recruiting any kid off the worst team in Utah basketball history. Maybe Mr. Beasley was right. Maybe the odds really were stacked against me. Maybe it really was that hard to go play college ball. So after graduation, because of my grades, I get this tuition scholarship to a small junior college about 90 minutes from my hometown, Salt Lake City. No athletic scholarship, just tuition covered. That was my only option at that point. So on registration day, me and my mom and dad, we drive up 90 minutes to the campus, and I'm carrying with me a highlight film of me playing basketball. It showed me 360 dunking, showed off my athleticism, and my plan was super simple. I was gonna go hunt down the basketball coach, I was gonna hand him the tape, and I was gonna ask him for a shot to walk on. So we found the basketball coach. Coach Jeff Judkins was his name. And I say, Coach, I wanna walk onto your team. I got this film for you. Coach Judkins wouldn't look at it. He said, kid, I don't know if you can play basketball or not, but my roster's full. And if you wanna play college basketball, you're gonna have to do it somewhere else. There was no other option. But just in case, I have this backup plan in the back of my mind, just in case this was gonna happen. And so I look up at my dad and I say, let's go talk to the football coaches. And so we walk across campus, we find the football coach's office, I knock on the door opens, offensive coordinator, guy by the name of Titan Trimble. Long story short, Titan's actually in this program. He couldn't make it today. Full circle story. Titan Trimble is sitting there looking at me, and I'm trying to tell him as fast as I can that I didn't play high school football, hadn't played since Little League, but I hand him this tape of me playing basketball. Titan grabs the tape and he puts it into the player. Me and my family's right in the office watching as this is happening. He watched me 360 dunk, showing him my moves a little bit, and I say these exact words. These exact words come out of my mouth. I'm still standing as I say it. I say, Coach, if I suck, you can cut me. All I need is a shot. And he looks at me for a minute, and he says, John, I can't promise you anything, but tryouts are in a month. I want you to show up, and I'll give you your shot. That was it. That was my one shot, and I took it. I redshirt my freshman year because I don't even know what the hell a cover 2 defense is. Last time I played football was just like Little League stuff. My sophomore year, I'm not even starting yet, but I'm getting in the games, I'm getting reps, I'm getting better every day, and I played just enough to get noticed. Overnight, schools start calling me. I start getting recruited heavily. Kansas State, Oregon, Stanford, I'm getting phone calls, I have boxes of letters. I can't believe it. And I think back to that conversation I had with Mr. Beasley a couple years ago about how less than 5% of all high school athletes all over the United States ever play college ball. And I think to myself, I wonder what the damn statistic is for kids that never even played this sport in high school. And I thought to myself, it's probably somewhere around 0%. So one day, I'm talking to my dad after one of the spring practices, and he says, John, there's this article in the Salt Lake Tribune. You got to read it. It's about this new coach by the name of Urban Meyer. Nobody really knows the guy. He came from Bowling Green, wherever the hell Bowling Green is. But in the article, he's talking about how talented this Utah football team is, except for one position group. The article said that the wide receivers were dog shit. And if they were going to win any games, they better find some wide receivers, and they better find them fast. And he says, if I were you, I'd go talk to him. Like, never heard the name Urban Meyer before. It's a weird-ass name. But I take my dad's advice. And so I drive from the junior college 90 minutes up to the University of Utah, unannounced. I finally find the football offices. I walk in. Staff members looking at me like, what the hell do you want? And I say, I'm here to see Urban Meyer. And he looks at me like, do you have an appointment? And I'm like, no, but I'm a wide receiver at a junior college. I have 3 years of eligibility left. And I just read a newspaper article that said, you guys need wide receivers. And he looks at me funny, and he says, give me a second. And I watch this guy. He walks down the hallway, and he opens the door, and he peeks inside of it, and he says, I got a 6'5" wide receiver that says he plays in junior college that wants to transfer here. A couple minutes go by. I'm getting walked back into Urban Meyer's office, and I'm sitting there. And I have this bleached, blonde, shaggy-ass haircut. I have a hat on backwards, and I got this puka shell necklace. And I thought I looked dope. Like, I thought I looked good. And Urban's staring at me, right? And the first words out of his mouth are, take your damn hat off. And so I pull my hat off. And this dude's just staring me down like Clint Eastwood. And he says, what's your story? And so as fast as I could talk, I'm like, I'd never played high school football. I walked onto a junior college. I have 3 years left to play. Kansas State's calling me every single week, and they're thinking about signing me. But my dream school is the University of Utah, and I want to play here. And Urban says, do you have any tape? And I say, yes, I do. So I open up my backpack, and I have that same high school basketball tape on VHS. This time it has about a couple minutes more of football footage. So Urban plugs in the tape, and he's watching me dunk. He's watching me move around. And then I have some of these plays that I'm real excited for him to look at, a couple catches. And he watches the tape, and he doesn't say a word. And then at the very end of the tape, there's this one play. I almost didn't even put it on the tape. But I remember being so pissed off that game that I wasn't starting, that when I got in, I ran a route, and our quarterback throws the ball to the other side, and a linebacker is about to make the tackle on this guy. But I see it happening, and I plant my foot, and I peel back, and I'm just on a beeline. And I just, boom, explode over this guy. All of my frustration for not starting. Almost knocked this dude's helmet off. And Urban stops the tape. And he says, if you block like that, there might be a chance for you to play here. So a couple weeks go by, back and forth with Urban Meyer, trying to learn a little bit about me. And one day, I get a phone call, Coach Urban Meyer, and he says, John, can you come back down to the football offices? And I say, yes, sir. So I drive 90 minutes from my junior college up to the University of Utah football offices, and I find myself sitting in Urban Meyer's office again. Same story. You're going to meet him. He's going to be here. I don't know if he's here yet, but he just stares at me. Seems like 5 minutes goes by, and the dude doesn't say a word, just like analyzing me and my bleached blonde hair. And finally, he stands up, and he says this. He says, do you want to be a fucking Ute? A Ute, University of Utah, for those of you who don't know, is an Indian tribe. Do you want to be a Ute? My heart starts pounding. I shake his hand. He says, welcome to the team. And so I walk out of his office. I can't believe what just happened. And so I dial Dad right there. Say, Dad, I'm on the team. I'm on the team. We start going nuts. We were a Utah family. That was where I always wanted to go to school. And so after we settle our asses down for a little bit, my dad says this. He says, do you have a scholarship? I say, you know, Dad, I don't know. I didn't ask. And he says, what do you mean you didn't ask? Like, how are we going to pay for school? And I say, Dad, Urban scares the shit out of me. And I shook that dude's hand, and I walked out as fast as I could. We'll figure that scholarship shit out later. And so 2 months go by, and I end up in training camp. Everything that I've ever dreamed of. I check in, I get my helmet, I get my Utah gear. I'm not on scholarship, I'm a walk-on, so I'm not getting the best shit, but I'm getting some stuff. And I can't wait for that first day of practice. I get out there, and one of the first things we do as a wide receiver, we line up and we start running routes. So the first route I run a little slant route, bam, plant my feet, snap it off, catch the ball, bam, straight up field, flip the ball to the quarterback. I see Urban's eyes kind of watch me. So the next route, I'm treating this practice thing like game day right now. Come off the ball, gonna run a post route, break it off on the 7th step, bam, pop, catch the ball, straight up field. And Urban does this, he says, Billy was the wide receiver coach. Billy, get his ass ready to play. Get him ready to play, he's gonna play this year. And I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna play this year. Like, you fucking know I'm gonna play this year. And confidence just like oozing out of me. So this first week of training camp, it's like everything I've ever trained for is snapping right into place. Like I can feel this dream now. And then, second week of training camp happens. The wheels start falling off a little bit. First week, they were treating me like a walk-on that was lucky to be there. So I was going up against the guys that were 3rd and 4th string, other walk-on guys, and I was dominating. Second week, though, they're like, we're gonna see what this kid has. And so they start testing me against the starters, against some of the All-Americans. I start getting my ass kicked a little bit. Now I'm playing meaningful reps, so if I messed up, I was getting that ass chewing big time. And I remember getting just beat up. I remember looking down at my arms and just like, I was just bruised everywhere. Like this was the most physical thing that I've ever had to go through. At the end of that second week, I bang up my knee a little bit. And this is a mistake, guys. Because if you're banged up, you end up on what's called the treatment list. Anybody that's played college football understands what the treatment list is. This is not by any circumstance where you want to end up, especially in training camp. Because what this means is that while the other kids get to go to breakfast at 7 a.m. and show up, you're getting treatment at 5 a.m., and after the team meetings at night, you're getting treatment because it's the trainer's job to get you back on the field. And I'm tired. Guys, I don't know if anyone's ever been through two-a-days back then. I know Anthony has. You know what I'm talking about. Training camp is brutal. And so at the end of the second week, we have this big team scrimmage. It's a big deal. A lot of pressure for me. And I decide by myself that my body needed sleep more than my knee needed ice. That was my decision. My knee doesn't need ice anymore, I need sleep. So I missed treatment. I look down at my cell phone, and I have about 50 missed calls from Billy Gonzalez, my wide receiver coach. Like, I'll talk to him when I get there. So I walk in the facility, and Billy's waiting for me. And Billy is pissed. He's like, you missed treatment. And I say, yeah, I know. I'm like, but my knee's feeling a little better. And he says, oh, your knee's fine? I'm like, this was my only out. It wasn't fine, but I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And he's like, good. Because today in the scrimmage, you're gonna play every fucking rep. You're not gonna come out for a second. We're gonna see how good that knee is. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Should have woke up. I don't know if that 2 hours was worth it. And Billy was right. I do this scrimmage. It's about 100 degrees. It's in August. And I don't come out. I don't come out for a play. Everybody else is getting water breaks and making sure they're fresh. Not John. This kid is playing every damn rep. At the end of the scrimmage, I have a slant route. And if, like normally, like my stance would be kind of like this, like I'm down, I'm ready. Now I'm kind of out on my feet, like I'm just like up against the ropes. I'm exhausted. And so I run this slant route, just this sloppy ass slant route. Boom, put my hands up, the ball hits my fingers, and a safety hits me right in the ribs, and the ball pops out, and I'm laid out on the ground, and I watch helplessly as a defender picks up the football and runs it in for a touchdown. The scrimmage ends. The wide receiver group breaks it down. Billy tells everybody else to go to lunch. And he says, John, we don't fucking fumble here at the University of Utah. He says, you're going to be in the back of the end zone with me. I'm like, okay. So I go to the back of the end zone, and he slaps 2 footballs in my forearms, hold them like this. And he says, you have up downs every 5 yards. Like, okay. Doesn't seem that bad. So every 5 yards, I'm landing on my elbows, popping up. Every 5 yards, I'm doing this. I get to about the 40-yard line, and the one thing about turf, or that kind of turf, is if the air temperature was 100 degrees, on the ground it was probably 120 because of all those little rubber things that are inside the turf. Anybody that's felt them know what I'm talking about. They're black. And so when we were playing, it used to burn our feet through our cleats, but now I'm landing on my elbows. So I get about 40 yards in, and my elbows start splitting open. So blood is just running down both forearms into the footballs. And to make it worse, Billy is just in my fucking face the whole time. And he's saying, you're not tough enough to play here. He's yelling, though. He's yelling. You'll never play here. I don't even know why we gave you a shot. There's 1 million kids out there that are better than you. You're not fucking tough enough to play here. The whole time. And so every time he knocks a football, and he's punching them out, like he's punching them out. Every time he knocks one out, I got to go back 10 yards. And so this goes on for like 45 minutes. It's like a marathon. I get to the end, and I have tears running down my face. Like I'm broken at this point. And I finally get done. And Billy just gives me a 5 like this. He says, great job. And I'll never forget him running off. I'm like, motherfucker. But I'm sitting there, and we're in the stadium. So the stadium's empty. This was a stadium I used to go to watch games. And so I just take a moment to myself. Tears, blood, and I'm sitting there. And I make a decision in that moment that I'm going to quit. That Billy was right. Like, I don't think I have what it takes to do this shit. And so the only thing that I had to decide in this moment was I just going to ghost out and have nobody see me again and just grab my shit and drive 20 minutes to my home? Or was I going to pay Urban a little bit of respect for giving me a shot and tell him that I'm going to quit? And I decided it would be better if I told Urban and didn't just walk out. So for the rest of the day, I go through lunch. I tell my few friends that I made in the first couple weeks that they're never going to see me again. Best of luck. I'm going to go be a normal kid. And we get to the end of the night, which is the last team meeting of the day. And my plan is to go into this team meeting. Urban usually leads it, and then I was going to tell him afterwards that I was going to quit. But I'm walking into the team meeting, and Urban's walking the other direction. And he looks in my eyes for a second, and he says, John, are you all right? And I say, yeah, Coach, I'm fine. And he says, no, you're not. He says, get up to my office. There was an assistant coach right there, and Urban grabbed the assistant coach, says, you got to run this meeting. I got to go handle something. So I walk up to Urban's office. He lets me in the door. He walks ahead of me, and I stop about 5 feet from the door. And I have this part rehearsed, what I'm about to say. And I'm choked up because I know that I'm quitting on my biggest dream. And I say, Coach, I have tears streaming down my face. I say, Coach, I just want to thank you for the opportunity, but I don't think I love football. That was my exact words. And Urban's staring at me again. This time he has like a little, I can't tell if it's like a half smile or just a stone cold look. And he says, if you walk out those doors, I'll fucking fight you. Sit. Pattern interrupt. If anyone's crying, just do that. Kids are crying, say something like that. Okay. So I sit down. I don't know if I want to sit in these, I might rip these pants, but I sit down. And Urban on his desk has a photograph, a picture, and it's of Shelly, Gigi, and his family. And he says, he grabs the picture and he shows me, he says, John, the one thing about quitting is that if you quit once, you're going to be a quitter for the rest of your life. And everything gets easier to quit once you quit that one time. It's like, see your family? You'll quit on them someday. Your businesses, you'll quit. He's like, I know this is the most difficult thing you've ever had to do, training camp. It's hard, I get it. But this shit is Disneyland compared to real life. That's what he said. And he says, what's your dad's phone number? At this point, I'm still in shock, and I just rattle it out. 801-201-9902. Dad, that's your phone number. And he dials it on speed dial. And my dad answers, and he's at a birthday party. And he's like, hello? And Urban's like, this is Coach Urban Meyer from the University of Utah. My dad's like, oh, hey, you know? And Urban says, I got your son here with me, and I just want to tell you that he's a tremendous athlete. He's great. He's going to be a great player. He's going to play this year for us. And I'm like, what the fuck? Trying to quit. And so he hangs up, and Urban looks at me, and he says, when I look at you, I don't see a quitter, John. He says, I'll see you at practice the next day. I'll see you at practice tomorrow. And he shakes my hand. And I shake his hand, and I commit to him that I'm going to show up the next day, and every ounce of me still wants to quit. I lace up my shoes the next day at practice, still want to quit. A week later, still want to quit. I'm just hanging on by a thread. But I make a promise to myself. I wanted to know what it felt like to play in a real-life college football game. Keep in mind, I never had Friday night lights. I never played high school ball. In junior college, we played in front of like 4 people, so it didn't really feel like college. Could hear my parents talk in the stands, like when we're playing. Could hear people chew popcorn. It was not, not the real shit. And so we played Texas A&M, week 2. And Kyle Field, anybody that's college football fans know that Texas A&M plays at Kyle Field. It's one of the best college football experiences out there. Fits 100,000 people. So I circle that game. And by this time, I had spoken to my dad and mom, told them, I'm thinking about quitting and I want to quit. And they're just, doing everything they can to keep me in the game. But I say, I'm going to quit if this shit isn't worth it when I get to this one game. But I don't even know if I'm going to travel, you guys, because at this point, I'm still a walk-on. On a football team, there's 85 to 100 people. And if you're on the travel team, there's only 50. They can't take everybody. And so as the week happens, I don't know if I'm traveling. The travel list comes out on Wednesday. And so I walk into the locker room and I look on the list and I'm there. I'm going to travel. 2 days before that, our best receiver gets caught stealing condoms in a 7-Eleven, and he gets suspended. Back then, we didn't get paid, so he had to do what he had to do, right? These kids. He's suspended. That puts me on the travel list. So I call my mom and dad, and I say, hey, I'm going to Texas A&M, but I wouldn't worry about booking a flight or anything. Like, there's no chance I'm going to play. just going along for the ride. And they're like, no, we're coming. I'm like, okay, suit yourself. Gonna watch me ride the pine. And they show up, and 2 of their friends come with them. And I remember being in the bus, just driving into the football stadium. And I see miles of tailgate, people tailgating, music blasting, smoke from their barbecues, maroon everywhere. And I'm like, shit, this is pretty damn cool, you know? And I'm out there warming up. And it's the most meticulously cut, perfect grass I've ever touched in my entire life. I can still smell that grass. And the band's playing, and people are pouring into the stadium. Just pouring into the stadium. 100,000 people. The game hasn't even started, and I'm thinking, man, I don't know. Like, training camp might have been worth that, you know? And so I get to warm up with the team, and the game starts. And we start getting our asses whooped. We're down 20-0 like that. In the second quarter, I'm sitting there, I'm standing on the sideline, have my helmet just off to the side like this, holding it. It's a nuisance to even have to hold it at this point. And I'm talking to one of the other walk-on guys that are lucky to be there. And one of our other wide receivers, our second best wide receiver at this point, he's laid out on the ground. And I'm like, oh shit, hope he's okay. And I just hear my name, Madsen, Madsen, Madsen. And I'm like, oh shit. I grab my helmet, throw it on, strap it up, and I'm out in the game. I'm out there in the huddle, and I can't hear shit. I can't hear shit. I don't even know the fucking playbook. I just got there a couple weeks ago. And one of the first plays, like I line up on the wrong side of the football. I get a flag called on me. Coaches are just losing their shit over there at me. One of the other plays, I line up. I'm like, okay, my job's to go block that safety. And so I take off. I'm running. And that safety comes downhill, boom, and just lays me out. And I pop back up. I'm like, oh shit, like a chicken with his head cut off out there. Halftime happens, and I'm like, thank God, thank God. So I'm sitting there in the locker room, sitting there, and sweat's just pouring off my face, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And Urban comes through the doors. He comes through the doors, and there were doors that like went like this, you know those doors? And so Urban is like, boom! The door is fucking open. And he's mad. Veins coming out of his neck. You'll see, he has that vein still. And he makes eye contact with me. And he gets right in front of my face, and he's yelling. He says, John, I don't give a fuck if you're scared or not. He says, there's 100,000 people in the stands right now that doesn't give a fuck if you're scared. And most importantly, there's 50 guys in this room, your brothers, that have bled, that have sweat, and have given everything to be in this room right now. And we're not going to let you fuck it up because you're scared. And then he said the part that just pierced me. Now he's not yelling. It's a whisper. He says, if I had anybody else to put in the game, I'd put him in. But all I have is you. And I'm like, oh shit. My buddy Rob Geck sitting right next to me pats me on the thigh pad. It's all right, bro. And I'm like, nah, I got to go somewhere. So I go into the training room. Training room's over here. And I'm like, Steve, he was the guy that got hurt in the second quarter. I'm like, maybe Steve's all right, miraculously. And so I go, Steve, are you all right, bro? And Steve's like, nah, man, my ribs. And I'm like, fuck. There's nowhere to go. I got to go back into the game. So I go back into the game. And we start making this mad comeback. We're racing up and down the field, going no huddle, hand signals. We get halfway through the fourth quarter, and there's this 4th and 15 that if we don't convert, game's over. And so I come off the ball, and I'm running this go route. Quarterback launches the ball up, and I jump over the defender, catch the ball. First down, Utah, 30-yard gain. And I'm like, okay. Start to feel like a player again, right? We keep going. We get to the point where there's 8 seconds left, and we're down 28-20. We might have time for 2 plays, But the quarterback, we're on our own 40 to 45 yard line. Quarterback takes the ball. He gets a little bit of pressure from this side, so he starts rolling out like this. I'm over here, and I just have a straight go route. So I take off. And for whatever reason, both defenders jump this out route, and I find myself wide open. And the quarterback launches the ball, and it's up there just fluttering for what seems like my entire life. And I turn around, and I catch the ball, and I take 3 steps, and I'm in the end zone. And everybody in the stadium is like this. They can't believe that just happened. And the referee, I have a photo of this, is like this. Is like doing this. My dad's in the stands and my mom. I have, here's the 2003 media guide. 2003. There's 188 pages. There's not one John Madsen in here. I'm not on the roster, you guys. I had just gotten to the damn team. So there's no 23 and there's no John Madsen. The announcers don't know who the hell I am. Shelly Meyer is in the first row. She's Urban's biggest fan. And as this is happening, she's screaming. She's like, who's number 23? She knows all the players. She doesn't know me, though. Who's number 23? And my mom and dad are yelling, that's my son. That's my son. And I don't know if this is true, Dad. You can tell him. We still don't know to this day if he fainted or just had to take a knee like this. Because the whole crowd was mobbing him. And I'm in the locker room. We lost, by the way. We didn't hit the 2-point conversion. Who really gives a shit at this point, right? So I'm in the locker room, and the media relations girl's like, you got to go talk to the media. I'm like, should I shower or just go like this? She's like, no, just go. So I go over here, and I have like 20 cameras, and they're like, how are you playing? You never even played high school football. Like, who are you? How did you get here? And I'm just answering questions like, what the hell is going on? So I go shower, and I come out. And my parents are there with 2 of their friends, and they're still going crazy, and I'm still in shock. And we're trying to act kind of cool because we lost the game, but it's like, we didn't really feel like that was a loss. And my dad asked me this right before I get on the bus. He says, son, was it worth it? Was it worth it? And I say, Dad, I would have done 1,000 training camps to feel that one moment, one time in my life. It was worth it. And I get on that bus. And from there, doors open for me that you would have never imagined. I go from a kid who couldn't lift 95 pounds in the weight room, who went 1-39 in high school basketball, to play in Division I football, to score in touchdowns, becoming a Fiesta Bowl champion, and ultimately living out my dream that I wrote down in 7th grade, professional athlete. And this is what I learned, looking back. The odds don't matter. The stats don't matter. Other people's opinions of what they think is possible don't matter. The only thing that matters is your decision to keep fighting when everything in you wants to quit, and to keep believing when there's no evidence of success. That's the difference, in my opinion, that's the difference of winners and losers. And that's why I built this program. Because I know what it feels like to have all the odds stacked against you. I know what it feels like to doubt yourself, to want to quit, and to hear that voice in your own head sometimes that says, you're not good enough. But I also know what it feels like to push through. I know what it feels like to go the distance. And I know what it feels like to fucking win. Everybody, in my opinion, everybody quits 3 feet from gold. Nobody gets to touch the gold because they always quit right before the glory. Not you guys. Not us. Superhuman, if you haven't realized by now, is not a fitness program. Newsflash. It's about going the distance. It's about building a championship mentality that will not quit, ever. Ever. Because once that mentality is built and it's installed in your heart, it doesn't matter what anybody says. There's no statistic, there's no doubt, and there's no naysayer that can ever get in your way. This next 2 days, you guys, is going to be magic. The speakers we have, magic. Your guys' transformations, magic. Can we all agree right now, all of us collectively agree that over the next 2 days we're going to play all out? Can we agree to that? I want you to raise your hand right now. Right now, you don't have to, but if you raise your hand right now, I want you to commit to yourself that you will not quit. That's it. That's all we got. If you don't raise your hand if you're going to not go the distance, all right? Look around, guys and girls. There's 500 people in this room. 500 people. 500 teammates on a championship team. This is superhuman. You guys are what superhuman is about. Remember that commitment to yourself before you leave. The commitment that you're going to go the distance in your body, you're going to go the distance in your business, and you're going to go the distance in your life. The next speaker, you guys, is going to blow the roof off of this place. Jesse Itzler, I don't know him personally. I was just spending some time with him in the back room, but I know his story, and I've watched him from afar from a long time. When I see Jesse, I see courage. But I see a man who does it without strain on his face. He does it with a smile. Jesse has a zest for life that's palpable. That's palpable. When he takes the stage, y'all are going to feel it. If you don't know who he is for whatever reason, you're going to feel it. It's palpable. And I can't wait for him to step on the superhuman stage because he is superhuman. Everybody, let's welcome Jesse Itzler.